How many people have dogs at your house? Who's got a dog at your house? Okay. And does your dog ever do anything, McKenna, does your dog ever do anything to help you? Think of anything. It's kind of there, right? Do you feed your dog? You do it? You do it, or your mother do it, or your dad do it, or your brothers do it? You ever do it? Usually your mom does it. Do you ever help out? Sometimes you will feed your dog. It's good to know. But Avery, you have a dog at your house?
Yes.
Does it ever do anything to help you? It does? Does it love you? You think? Yeah, I bet it does. Okay. I want to talk about dogs that help people today, because there are some dogs that are specially trained to help. And I went on and I found something called the International Association of Assistant Dog Partners. It's the IAADP. You knew about that, didn't you? I didn't either until I found it anyway. But it talks about 3 different kinds of dogs I want to tell you about this morning. I've got little pictures of them. It's kind of hard to see. The first one is called a guide dog. This guide dog is to help people who have a little trouble seeing as well as you and I do. And so we call them visually impaired. And so they have a guide dog that they hold on to that leads them around to different places and helps them know when there's traffic. If there's going to be a street, they have to watch out for cars. They watch out for cars for that person. To make sure they don't fall down any steps or bump into a wall or something like that, you know. We have a lady who comes to church here occasionally who has a guide dog, and that's one of the few times we'll have a dog in the church, you know, because normally it's not a good thing, but in that case it's a good thing because the dog is very helpful to this person. Here's a picture of someone with a guide dog. You ever seen anybody like that? Sometimes you can see a guide dog like that. There's another kind of helpful dog too. This one is called a hearing dog. Sometimes people have a hard time hearing, and it's like when your parents are talking to you and telling you something. Maybe you get a hearing dog, right? So a hearing dog helps people. Let's say if a person doesn't hear very well and the doorbell rings, the dog will let the person know that the doorbell is ringing. Or what if the phone rings? They'll let them know that. Or what if let's hope not, but what if the smoke alarm goes off, right? They can warn them about that something is happening. So these are called hearing dogs, and here's a picture. When I've got another one too. Well, there's another one at the bottom to show you 2 pictures at once. The other one is called a service dog, and these are dogs that live with people in their houses, their apartment, and these are people who maybe they can't get around very well in their apartment, and they need help like opening the refrigerator, or the dog will go get them things, is trained to go get them things, or maybe they'll open a drawer, open a cabinet, or something like that. So these are called service dogs. See, this top one is hearing dog. See how he's got his paw out, trying to tell this lady that there's something going on she needs to know about? Here's a service dog. He's opening what? What's he opening?
A refrigerator.
Refrigerator. Dog's opening refrigerators, getting the guy beer. No, that's not right. See, there's the hearing dog, and there's the service dog opening the refrigerator. See that? So these dogs are helpful dogs, aren't they? They've been trained and know how to help people. Jesus talked a lot in the Bible about us helping other people, but he tells us a story today. We call it the story of the Good Samaritan. Jesus talks about this guy going down the road, and he sees somebody that's in trouble, and he stops and he helps him, right? And there's a person, it's an attorney. We don't like to say too much about attorneys in this congregation because we have more attorneys than we do church members. But this attorney asked Jesus, well, who is my neighbor? And Jesus says, anybody who needs your help is your neighbor. And I think that's what he's telling us in this story, right? So he tells us, as we live our lives, if we see people who need to be helped, we can be helpful to other people, right? They don't have to live right next door to us, or they don't have to live right across the street. But anybody who needs help is our neighbor. We need to help them, right? So that's a story we're going to talk about in our sermon today. We'll say a little more about it. But I thought these helpful dogs were a good way of us thinking about that. As dogs help people, you and I can call on to help other people too, right? Jesus would want us to do that. Okay, thanks a lot. Thanks for coming out. We'll see you later.